Aaron, Sody here, and I'm bringing a quick little video here on day 2 of the season, and I want to show you guys how I'm farming tier 110s already on day 2 on the Marauder Demon Hunter. So as of recording this video here, the season has been live about 30 hours, and I'm about 1200 Paragon, and I'm already farming tier 110 solo on a Demon Hunter. So in this video, I want to show you guys how I'm doing this, what my gear is like, and how you can do the same. Now the cool thing about this build is that it scales really well. So it works at low Paragon and low gear. You can do 90s really efficiently, even at Paragon 600. And it just scales even more the more gear, the more Paragon you get. So it's a really good starter build and also scales really well. And this build here is really good for farming Gradives. So as you can see, even in 110 here with no pylons, we're still able to blast the Swift Guardian down. And I'm averaging these 110s in about 2.5 minutes or so. And it's really good XP and it's really nice to play as well. So let's go over the gear and see how everything works, shall we? So of course we have the Marauder 6-piece here. Basically you get damage per sentry active. You of course want to have 5 sentries up so you get the maximum multiplier. In terms of the gear for the weapon, we have Yank's Recurve here. And this weapon you want a high resource cost reduction. You want cooldown reduction and percent damage. Now you don't need to worry about this secondary at all. We are playing Cluster and not multi-shot. And I would always recommend Cluster over multi-shot when it comes to farming like this. As Cluster is easier to play and easier to gear. For the curve above with this rucksack, very important to get a high secondary here. I have 200%, which is really nice. And then after that, you want a high sentry damage as well. You can see I have 90%. And you of course want the pre-rolled attack speed and crit chance to be fairly high. And then cooldown reduction. Now best case scenario here, also get resource cost reduction instead of the vitality, but the quiver like this works really well for day 2 of the season, not gonna lie. For the rings, you want focus and restraint, and ideally you want it like this, so you have a flat damage roll and then crit damage and crit chance. But early on in the season, a focus like this with dexterity crit also works really well. But the more main stat you get, the less dexterity will do for you. And that is where something like a flat damage roll really takes off. For the gloves, get dexterity, crit damage, crit chance, and cooldown reduction. Shoulders get cooldown reduction, resource cost reduction, and sentry damage. Helmet, dexterity, crit chance, and cluster damage. For the chest piece, get sentry damage, dexterity, and vitality. For the belt, dexterity, vitality, armor, and ideally all resistance. I have percent life, but all resistance would be better. Same thing for the pants, so dexterity, vitality, all resistance. And then for the boots, dexterity, vitality, all resistance, and cluster arrow damage. For the amulet, Squirt's amulet, try and get one with cold damage, and then crit chance and crit damage. I don't have that yet, and I'm still able to do 110s even without the crit chance. So the build is really strong. For the braces, get reps of gravity, get a high secondary, especially if playing hardcore. Get it close to 50, get 47, 48 or above. And after that, you want cold damage, crit chance, dexterity, and vitality. For the legendary gems, you want Enforcer, Saystone of Vengeance, and then also Bane of the Trap. For the cube, of course, Manticore for reduction of hatred and increased damage to cluster arrow. Sorry Secret for damage reduction. Ring of Rank Grandeur, this allows us to have the 5-piece of Marauder and the 2-piece of Capture Crimson, and we still get a feint of both the sets. Oh, and before I forget, try and get pickup radius on as many of these items as you can. So gloves, chest piece, legs, boots. Pickup radius is really strong for speeds. You want to try and get this as much as possible. Even if it means losing a bit of damage, get pickup radius, very important. For the spells, get Evasive Fire with Focus, Cluster Arrow Maelstrom, Sentry Polar Station, Companion Wolf Companion, Vault Tumble, Vengeance Darkheart. And then for the passive, you want Tactical Advantage, Ballistics, Awareness, and Custom Engineering. Now, if you are softcore and you're not struggling at all with toughness, you could swap the Awareness to Ambush. But if you are still early in the season or you are fairly squishy, and definitely if you're playing hardcore, make sure you have Awareness. Now, I haven't really set up my follower yet since we're still very early, but I have Enchantress, and then I have the Relic so a follower cannot die. And then I have a Flavor of Time, Nemesis Braces, and Oculus Rings. These are very important. Of course, to get the double effect of pylons, get the elites from the pylons, and then of course also the damaged rings. I also have 3 pairs of canes, of course, for increased drops of Gradive Keystones. And then also a Broken Crown to get more gems. As you can see, I have about 9 or 10 augments already on my gear. So it's very important that you get as many normal gems as you can. And that's where a Broken Crown really helps. So make sure a Broken Crown, 3-piece canes, maybe an average band, and of course a Flavor of Time, Nemesis Braces, and Oculus Ring. And then for the spells, I have cooldown reduction and of course the cheat death. But I highly recommend you guys to make this build now. It is super powerful really early on, and it scales insanely as well. If you would like to watch more of my Diablo 3 content, then watch one of the 2 videos on the screen now, as they will contain some really good information to know about this season. So I'll see you in one of those videos. Peace out, everyone.